Hey guys, how y'all doing? Time to bring some focus to your favorite and not so favorite geeky films. Cam here, and welcome back to Cam in Focus. Before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with news and discussions. Geek News Now does its best to be a reliable source of media news so that we don't continue getting hounded by clickbait. So subscribe to us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter to join our family. The opening scene, and specifically the opening shot of a film, is more important than some people realize. Besides being the viewer's first impression of the film that could potentially change their minds as to whether or not to continue watching, it also has the ability to set the stage for what kind of film we're about to see, and add a lot of context for what ends up occurring throughout. There are few opening shots that are more iconic than that of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. This is it, guys, the big one. The one that started an international sensation that spans generations. The film is a fantastic exploration of the old-fashioned hero's tale with colorful characters, great action, and a fun story that audiences of all ages can enjoy. At the time it came out, it was groundbreaking, so let's talk about it. First, we're treated to the iconic opening fanfare and text crawl, giving us some insight into what's going on. After a slow pan down from the stars and the surface of a desert planet comes into view, we're greeted by a clunky-looking white ship gliding into frame. It's a big ship, right? Nope, not compared to the next one. Our scope of view is just overwhelmed by the sight of a streamlined, diabolical-looking Imperial Star Destroyer almost blocking out the entire frame, chasing after this ship that looks puny by comparison. The hull of the ship just goes on and on. Looks great, right? Of course! But what else is there to talk about? Many other films have opening shots that by themselves can tell a self-contained story, even if the meaning made by the method is mostly metaphorical. Try saying that 5 times fast, eh? A good filmmaker can convey themes and even story and character arcs just by giving us a good opening shot. Take the film Silence of the Lambs, for example. We're shown the character of Clarice Starling, played fantastically by Jodie Foster, climbing up a hill with a rope. Seems simple enough, right? Maybe, but there's a lot that's conveyed to us in just a few seconds. 1. She's struggling to conquer an uphill climb. Much like she does for the majority of her story in the film, she struggles to pull herself through her own hardships. 2. She's by herself. Somewhat self-explanatory, she works on her own quite often. 3. When she reaches the top, she hears birds fly away, signaling the freedom gained by overcoming struggle, as well as personifying the lesser theme of flight present in the film. In a bare-bones sense, Clarice Starling's entire character arc is shown to us just in that shot. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why would you think that much info could be conveyed in the opening shot of A New Hope? Well, let's talk about it. Not only is this a breathtaking visual effect, accomplished by Industrial Light and Magic using models, but even if you had walked into the theater after the text crawl had already faded away, you can still get a solid idea of what the film and Star Wars in general is about just from looking at it. It's a great visual representation of good versus evil, the big bully picking on the little guy, the rebels fighting a constantly uphill battle against the oppressive Empire. The Rebel cruiser is futilely firing back at the Star Destroyer, giving us a hint at their determination to fight back no matter the odds, which ends up becoming one of the central themes in the entire Star Wars series. The shot really sets the scale for the story and what our characters are up against, even though not one character has been shown on screen yet. The Empire is larger than life, imposing, almost too big to be believed, while the Rebel Alliance is small, always on the run, but fighting back. And as the Destroyer looms over the planet below, it's another visual representation of how domineering the Empire is, and how large the shadow they cast can be. The basic story of Star Wars is told to us with just this opening shot. You also gotta figure the shape of the Destroyer. With its arrowhead shape and dorsal bridge tower, it almost looks like a shark chasing its prey, which wholly sums up the dynamic between the Empire and the Rebels. Not only does the chaotic music also complement the shot itself, but there's a peaceful break in between the fanfare and the on-screen burst of combat. You almost feel like it could go anywhere from there, but once those ships come into frame and the score picks up energy, it almost makes you forget about the text crawl you just read because the combination of what you're seeing and hearing sucks you right into the action. Now, if we take this one step further and look at the opening scene as a whole, you're given even more context and perspective as to the scope and scale of the story. So I'm going to list off a few points that really nail home just how big the Star Wars universe is in terms of character and story lore. Number 1. When 3PO says,
"There'll be no escape for the princess this time,"
it implies that she's always on the run from the Empire in one way or another. Yeah, I know that Rogue One came out and whatever, but you gotta remember that Leia didn't escape, she just ran away. So 3PO's words at face value imply a history of violence with Leia and the Empire. Number 2. Vader tells his subordinates to tell the Senate that everyone aboard the Tantive 4 was killed.
Send a distress signal, and then inform the Senate that all aboard were killed.
Just that one line really shows us the political influence the agents of the Empire have over the galaxy at large. Which is a reason why I kind of appreciate the politics that is shown to us in the prequels. I know that not everybody likes them, but I feel like having the politics shown to us at that point kind of gives a bit more weight to what you see here. Number 3. The scene where the Imperial officers don't shoot at the escape pod tends to be the butt of a lot of jokes, but you gotta figure that it's possible that not every officer knows exactly why they were there. They just knew they had to take over that ship. It really hints at just how influential the Imperial military is, that they have officers taking orders without knowing the full scope of what's happening. The opening scene, and especially the opening shot of a film, can do a lot to convey scale and perspective in just a few minutes, and there are few that do it better than Star Wars Episode 4. It shows us that it's possible to be thrust into a complex story while still being able to understand exactly what's going on, and this film to this day is still widely regarded as one of, if not the best Star Wars films, due in no small part to its storytelling. Well, that's all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed and maybe learned a little from my thoughts about Star Wars Episode 4's opening scene. This has been Cam in Focus, proud to be part of the Geek News Now network. Find us on Facebook and Twitter, links in the description below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us on social media to join our family and stay up to date with media news. Have a wonderful day and may the Force be with you.